welcome back to New York City. On the deck of the Intrepid as Tuesday Night Fights, presented by Miller High Life, returns you now back to ringside. And before Jones and Scotland this evening, there was some other action inside of the ring. Eric Kirkland, heavyweight that's up and coming, was inside of the ring against Curtis Taylor. As we look at the highlights from the fight, Max, what'd you think in watching Kirkland here this evening?
Kirkland looks sharp. He looks a little sharper than he has recently. He's shown flashes of brilliance so far in his young career without an extended amateur background. And he is a heavyweight prospect. He came in the low 200s. He's now over 220 pounds. Shows speed and power. Shows some of the signs of a guy without an extensive amateur background, but he was sharp tonight.
And he picks up the victory here by way of knockout. Eric Kirkland, a prospect who we may see more of here in the future on Tuesday Night Fights or on Friday Night Fights. But now we get into the portion of the show that you love and I love, Mad to the Max.
Mad to the Max. And I'm playing this under protest because I'm still very upset about that, but the show must go on and we're going to do it. So I play it under protest tonight.
So let's move forward here, under protest here this evening. To the Max, question number one. Danny from Grand Prairie, Texas. How can you think Tim Austin versus Bone Adams is better than Paulie Ayala versus Eric Morales?
Did I say Tim Austin versus Bones Adams? No, I said Bones Adams versus Paulie Ayala is better maybe than Tim Austin versus who?
Bones Adams. It says Tim Austin versus Bones Adams.
I don't know. I don't know if I said that. I don't even know how I feel about that. Next question.
Throw that one out. Peter O'Neill out of Chicago. What is the best fight you've seen so far this year?
Oh, Julian Letterlow, Julio Gonzalez. No question about it. Hands down, runaway winner.
All right, Dave Franklin out of Vancouver, British Columbia asks now, what do you think of Oscar De La Hoya?
Same as I always did. Tremendous fighter. The bar is set extremely high for him, high standards. He beats Castillejo every round, a good fighter. And people say, oh, why didn't he knock him out? Tremendous fighter. I don't think he beat Mosley or Trinidad.
Number 4, James Bray out of Greenwich, Connecticut. Zab Judah versus Costa Tszyu. Your pick.
Zab Judah.
Why?
I think he's a better fighter. I always thought Costa Tszyu was a little overrated. Love him. Love his attitude towards boxing. As I said, on Friday Night Fights, some guys, as a representative of your sport, you cringe when they talk. When Costa talks, you feel proud to be a boxing fan. Even the way he handled the interview with Jim Gray. He felt that Gray was being rude to him. He says, please do not be rude to me. Love it. Love the way he handles himself, but I love the way Zab fights a little more.
All right, and the final question of this evening. Jose out of San Diego, California asks, did you ever box?
Messed around.
Messed around. Must have been ugly.
It's a long story.
All right, now if you want to ask Matt some questions, just log on to ESPN.com, go to the boxing segment, and of course, you might get your question up here on To the Max, presented by Miller High Life. Now there's more action here from ringside. Cassandra Henderson is standing by with Lieutenant General Martin Steele, representative here from the Intrepid. Cassandra.
Thanks, Mario. Well, we live in New York. We know all about the Intrepid Museum, but for everyone watching around the world, tell us about this.
There are a lot of people in the world that understand about Intrepid, Cassandra. This is perhaps the most significant ship in the history of the Navy. She was commissioned in 1943 and served throughout the war in the Pacific, and was known by the Japanese as the ghost ship because she was struck 4 times by kamikazes, once by a torpedo and once by a bomb, and couldn't be sunk. She has a very enviable record, not only serving in World War II, helping to win the war in the Pacific, but also serving in the Caribbean and in the North Atlantic, 2 tours in Vietnam. She ended her career in 1974 as perhaps the most significant ship that ever served in the history of the Navy. So people from all over the world know about Intrepid.
But tonight, there's boxing on the Intrepid. What made you so interested in having a fight on the decks of the Intrepid?
Well, it's a perfect match for us. From the beginning of the Navy, and for that matter, all of the military, people in the military are very much involved in boxing smokers. This ship had them for its entire existence. And when we heard about ESPN having the opportunity to come here, we just felt it was a natural match. Sailors and Marines and soldiers have been fighting for eons and going into rings where all of their fellow crew members or fellow soldiers and airmen and Marines can cheer them on. So it's a perfect match for us to bring the formalized professional boxing for the first time to the Intrepid Sea Air Space Museum. We're excited about it.
Well, so are we. Lieutenant General Steele, thanks so much. Let's go back down to ringside with Max and Mario.
All right, thank you very much, Cassandra. It's been an exciting night of boxing, and it's only going to get more excited as Victor Polo steps into the ring in our main event against David Toledo. Fireworks are coming up on deck from New York City.
At Bombardier, the spirit of innovation stops at nothing. Our Trackster ATV, named ATV of the Year, is equipped with the Visco-Lock all-time four-wheel drive system, optimizing traction while allowing easy steering. A unique Bombardier technology. Buy a Trackster automatic, semi-automatic, or foot shift with a 500cc Rotax engine starting at only $146 per month with a 3-year limited warranty. Bombardier ATVs, engineered with you in mind. Hurry in and see your authorized Bombardier ATV dealer for details.
If you happen to see even more people in Moores these days, it's because right now we're having our summer sale, which means you'll find suits starting at $130, sport coats at $100, as well as casual wear, slacks, shoes, and outerwear at big savings. After all, while there may be a lot of places having sales this summer, we think you'll find what we have to offer will suit you the best. Well made, well priced, well dressed. Moores.
What a beautiful scene. You are watching Tuesday Night Fights presented by Miller High Life. It's a beautiful scene. Tuesday Night Fights presented by Miller High Life. Our main event, Victor Polo and David Toledo. Now, Polo has battled with some of the best. He's an incredible southpaw with incredible power. But both Polo and Toledo are looking past this fight to fight some of the best. Let's go to Max and Mario for more.
All right, thank you very much, Cassandra. And the two fighters are in their corners getting ready for our main event of the evening presented by Miller High Life. It's David Toledo versus Victor Polo. 12 rounds of action are on deck, on the deck.
On deck, on the deck.
And there's Victor Polo as we look at his stats here. His height's 5'9".
Polo is
in weight, 29, 3 and 2.
He's the older guy. He's the warhorse, but he is for real. Look at the last 2 fights on his record. Angel Vasquez, he was supposed to lose.
And Derrick Gainer.
And he dominated.
There's the Vasquez fight, Max.
Right, he was brought in as a opponent for Angel Vasquez. He's supposed to get knocked out, and he dominated the fight. And then against Derrick Gainer, yeah, you know what? Gainer won the fight. I thought Gainer won the fight. He got the decision. He won or defended his IBF title at 26. But he was the guy who stunk it out. Polo's the guy who forced the fight. And between Gainer and Polo, someone asked you who you'd want to watch again. You'd want to watch Polo.
There's David Toledo. We're looking at him now. Comes in at 126. 31 victories, 2 defeats, 2 draws, 13 by KO.
On paper, you have to like Polo on paper, but just like his brother, he's fighting for something here, and he's been very motivated by his brother's success.
Well, look at the success that Toledo's had, Max, as an amateur.
Right, there's a real pedigree there.
Introducing first, in the red corner,
Look at the tail of the tape between the two fighters.
25.5 pounds.
It's a 5 years difference.
Polo has the reach advantage, the height
Weight
advantage.
1 pound for Toledo. Reach back to Polo, as you were saying. Title fights and the experience factor is going to be key here, especially for a fighter like Polo, because he loves to remain active. In fact, against Vasquez, he averaged 90 punches per round.
You know, and people always, we make a lot of experience of who's older, who's younger, who's taller, who's shorter, who's more experienced. But the fact is, Polo has performed on a higher level, especially recently, than Toledo has.
Against stiffer opposition.
Better fighter.
Absolutely. Great point there, Max. And the crowd on the Intrepid deck is fired up and ready for tonight's main event.
Intercontinental featherweight champion, David Toledo.
This is almost a hometown fight for Toledo, fighting out of Patterson, New Jersey. Let's now hear the instructions.
All right, Victor, David, I expect a clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. We're under the rules. In the dressing room, I expect that clean fight. Shake hands, come out boxing at the bell. Good luck. Check it.
All right, Wayne Kelly there with the instructions, Max. And Toledo was saying yesterday that he needs to be an effective counterpuncher in order to have success in this fight against Polo.
But not run. You don't want to give Polo, let him work up the head of steam. You want to move, useful movement. Move enough to offset him. Don't let him plant his feet and throw punches. You want to basically stay in front of him, but not still.
Round one of our main event here this evening is underway.
No, not stand in front of him, rather be in punching range, but don't stand still. Polo working a nice stiff jab.
As you can see high above the ring here, Miguel Diaz, the trainer for Polo, made a very quick point here this evening. He ran inside the ring, measured it out with 16.5 feet. He said he loves that because he's got an old fighter, and his old fighter doesn't have to move much tonight in order to get those punches in against Toledo.
Certainly an advantage. It would seem to be an advantage for Polo. You know, people say, well, two southpaws fighting each other. It's like two orthodox fighters, two righties fighting each other. No problem. Not exactly. Southpaws aren't used to fighting southpaws. There are fewer of them than right-handed fighters. And so it's awkward at times for a southpaw to fight a southpaw, just like it's awkward for an orthodox fighter to fight a southpaw. They don't see them that often.
Just like Jones and Scotland in our first fight, Max, these two southpaws putting on a great show and throwing a number of punches here.
And let me make another baseball reference here. I talked to a lot of the Brian McRae and guys like that, analysts for Baseball Tonight, ESPN's Baseball Tonight, and they always say, look, doesn't matter how you come up hitting righties. In the end, you hit the righties better than you hit the lefties because you face them more, you're more comfortable against them. And it's the same thing for southpaws. Ultimately, they're more comfortable against the style that they see more often and have an advantage against. Two southpaws, although nowadays it's getting more and more, it's getting increasingly frequent.
We were talking about Polo earlier picking up the decision over Vasquez, a surprise decision, losing a split decision to Gainer, and talking about the fact that he's got more experience, but Toledo does not seem phased at all. And he's come in here and fought his style of fight.
And people have to realize what kind of fights those were against Vasquez and Gainer. Those are blue-chip contenders, at least. Vasquez was a feared puncher, undefeated fighter, considered a potential threat ultimately to Nassim Hamed. I never thought he was, but many people did. And Derrick Gainer has given fits to every featherweight he's ever fought. I have to think of whether Gainer ever lost to a guy at 126 pounds. He may have no losses at 26. It may just be at 30. Gainer's a stinking difficult guy to fight at 26. That's why very competitive with him.
It snaps Polo's head back. But look at Polo, Max. He got connected with the shot during your point there. And he's just right on top of Toledo here.
Just we're told by CompuBox that Polo's already thrown over 100 punches in the round.
Test your sports trivia knowledge on TSN and tune in to win with the TSN Playbook. Gift packages from Casio. Movie passes from Warner Brothers. Gift packages from Jameson Laboratories. Or a Premier Collection watch from Wittenauer. Weekly prize updates in the Ottawa Sun and Toronto Sun. Pick up your TSN Playbook at participating Via Rail and Esso locations. Hit tsn.ca/playbook for complete details.
Friday, Classics Boxing takes a look back at the early years of George Foreman. Then, Harding versus Jenkins, a boxing double bill. Friday on TSN.
You see Toledo countering with a right hook. There it is. Would have turned that over, would have done a little more damage with it, but not necessarily Toledo's game plan to throw punches with bad intentions early.
Did Toledo show you more than what you expected in round one, Max?
No, he's a quality fighter.
Polo did not surprise us in round number one. He threw 119 punches in the first round, 87 of which were jabs.
Brian Kenny from Friday Night Fights tells me frequently that how Toledo used to look in Catskill, working out up in Catskill as an impressive professional fighter. Amateur fighter, I guess.
And if you're his brother right now, are you scouting your own brother?
Oh, first of all, you don't need to because you know everything about him. But absolutely not. They're not thinking about that. Toledo also made a sneaky counter right hook earlier in this round, and Polo had to take a little two-step backwards. And maybe Toledo wants to start thinking about when he does a little business with that right hook, stepping in and landing 1-2 and then getting at it, following up his advantage a little bit. Not getting reckless, just putting some punches together after a right hook. See what he does? Toledo lands the right hook. Polo switches up with his feet 1-2. When he does that, he's off balance. He can be knocked down if he plays your shot right.
When he just lands a series of punches, big power shots. Toledo lands in response as well, but
his feet are coming together to switch up. You'll knock him down. He's off balance.
It's all about, it's very similar to a golfer's putt. It's all about timing and speed.
Oh, yeah, golf and boxing, just the same. Golf pick there.
Just under a minute here in round number 2.
Those who aren't aware, we have a long-running golf feud on this show.
Well, I think we've got a short feud inside of the ring, Max, and it's been a great one here.
It's been another excellent fight. Duva family boxing heating up. So far, excellent action, although the first fight ended perhaps tragically. We'll find out. This fight is professional boxing right here, folks. This is what you gotta love.
You know what's funny is when you look at this, Max, in all the years of covering a fight, I've never seen green gloves.
Not a fan, I don't recall.
And exactly, neither guy's Irish if you think about it either.
Showing that Irish fighting spirit, though, in there.
Yes, they do.
Good shot, man. Now, these first rounds van a ser, tú sabes, durito, pero está bien. Okay? Looking good. How you feel? Good. David, hazme caso, listen to me. I want you now, boxing your movement.
Para arriba el cuerpo, todo de acá para arriba. Y abriendo. De vez en cuando lo cruza con el recto y otra vez de nuevo el jab.
Cross it over with the left and once again with the jab.
Diaz was
Toma un
given
poquito de
Trainer of
agua.
the Year on his last year, I believe it
Yes,
was.
it
I
was.
think it was Ring Magazine.
Miguel just resting his fighter, telling him to drink
Boxing
water.
writers gave him this. Not Ring Magazine, Boxing Writers.
Llaveando y nada más.
Trainer of the Year.
¿Ok? Que decía ahí, respire duro.
And there's another trainer that's received his accolades during his career. Hall of Fame boxing trainer, Ed Duva.
They had an unfortunate split with main events that Duva founded and nurtured, and there's an unfortunate family feud going on there, and he started Duva Boxing, up, and you know he's going to build it up into a major stable. You just know it. He decided if doing it, knows what he's doing.
He's decided to plant his family roots elsewhere. Tonight, they're having one of the most successful shows thus far here on the deck of the Intrepid.
You know, when old-time fight guys, they know how to make fights. They know what they're looking at. They know how to pick prospects. He certainly fits that bill.
Stats now for the punches in round number 2, Max. And there they are.
But Toledo had plenty of moments. And you see what he's doing here when Polo opens up. Toledo's picking up his hands, keeping his elbows tucked, his hands high, his chin tucked, looking to counter with right hooks. The problem is he's not putting anything behind the right hook. Toledo not firing up on his advantage when he hits and momentarily stuns.
You know, it's funny, the first fight of the night, the light heavyweights, we were talking about earlier in the day, you and I, about it's a division where it's probably the easiest to get an opportunity at the big money.
Big guy, right?
In this division,
lockjaw.
Exactly.
It is featherweight is making the deepest division in boxing. Tremendous talent. Not like junior welterweight. When, you know, when people talk about it's depth, featherweight is far deeper, and the fighters on top are better also so far. Unless that totally dominates Costa, then he's right there. But it's a very rich division. With Hamed in there with the big paydays. Hamed is beaten by Moreira, tremendous fighter. Morales is there. Bones Adams is going to move up with Boyle, the winner can easily move up. You got David's brother, Frankie, who just grabbed the title. Botile, who lost to Frankie, is still a tremendous fighter if you come right at him. These two guys, Polo can fight. They're putting on a tremendous fight so far.
It'll be interesting to see how the judges for this bout, Bob Gilson, Tony Paola, and Steve Leisler, judge this fight. How much credit they give Toledo, considering that he's doing most of his punching while backpedaling.
Right, but probably still getting outpointed. And even mentioned Juan Manuel Marquez. And so he's a tremendous fighter at featherweight. Might be the best fighter in the division. You don't know. You like to see it. Freddie Norwood to a controversial loss. Many people thought he won that fight. Another tremendous fighter, unfortunately, is out of action right now. Freddie Norwood division. Just an unbelievable division, 126 pounds.
Best in boxing?
Yes, I would say so.
See how generous she is. This is Triple Chill Cake from McCain. The cake with the ice creamy taste. A big slice goes to her friend here. A big slice goes to her friend here. A big slice goes to her little brother. A big slice goes to her little brother. Triple Chill Cake from McCain. Have your cake, an ice creamy taste too.
Right now, you can get KFC's hot summer deal. 10 pieces of tender chicken, all the fixins, plus a bag of decadent 2-bite brownies. Now just $19.99. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Come on, let's go. We gotta get home. It's getting dark.
1, the need to be seen at a distance when darkness falls. 2, the innovation. Clothing created from materials so amazingly reflective, it can be seen hundreds of meters away. That's 3M innovation. We help the world see things more clearly because we make the leap from need to innovation. 3M innovation.
Well, Mario, Max, I spoke with an emergency medical technician, and they informed me that B. Scotland is at the hospital. He is being evaluated right now, that he is breathing on his own, but they are giving him oxygen. Now, I also spoke with J.D. Brown, his cutman, and he said that he thinks he's basically exhausted. But when I spoke with B yesterday, he said he took this fight at the last minute and that he's naturally a super middleweight, but that he went up to a light heavyweight, and he wasn't sure how that was going to affect him. Back to you, Max. Mario, what do you think about that?
That's actually reassuring that he didn't try out for, let's say, cruiserweight, because then physiologically you can be damaged more. I'd rather have him be a naturally smaller guy, taking those bigger shots, but didn't have to try out and damage himself physiologically right before the fight. Physiologically, the right word should be biologically. Damage himself physically before the fight. There you go. Clean it out Round 4 between Toledo and Polo. And you know something? Bobby Tomasello, we had a tragic fight on Friday Night Fights. Showed all the heart in the world. Got a draw against Steve Dossie on Friday Night Fights and wound up passing away of injuries sustained in that fight. Sometimes, even though he got the draw, I mean, let's say he would have been okay, Tomasello. Would it have been worth it for that draw? Would the risk have been worth that draw? Well, the answer for a guy like Tomasello and for a guy like Big Taven is yes. When guys like that say they're going to have to carry me out on a stretcher before I lose this fight, they mean it. They're warriors. They know they take a risk of their life when they get in there, and they'll have nothing less. They don't want to lose. No fighter in the history of boxing, you could say. Tremendous action in there.
Polo's got Toledo against the ropes, and he's just unleashing the punches. And Toledo got no answer.
Toledo fits the bill of that warrior. Look at him taking these shots. Well, he's not giving an inch. But he's not giving an inch. He's not acquiescing. And who this must be affecting right now is Frankie, after having seen what he just saw in the ring earlier in the night. His brother's taking big shots to the head. He has to be affected by this right now, Frankie Toledo.
And you'll wonder if Wayne Kelly would be affected by it as well, the referee in this bout. And Polo lands a stiff left. And he is just smothering Toledo right now with the punches.
Tremendous heart from Toledo. As I was about to say, no fighter in the history of boxing, you can say, has more heart than Scotland's Pete Taven Scotland, rather. You can't say that more, only as much. And Toledo's showing that kind of moxie, that kind of heart right now.
And here comes Toledo as he backs up Polo to the ropes with a left.
These are warriors, folks. They're willing to lay it all down, everything, to win, everything. These are metaphors in other sports, in basketball, baseball, football, metaphors. This is boxing. It's a reality, and literally in boxing.
And Miguel Diaz screams in the corner that Toledo's a dead fire inside of the ring. He's got no energy. Go after him.
Toledo's still countering with that left hand.
like you made the news.
Introducing the first sport utility that's as comfortable as it is capable.
Thanks for the lift.
You always drive?
Yeah. I hate flying.
The 2002 Envoy from GMC.
Oh, yeah, that's my boy. Yeah, major league moves. Oh, baby, pure silk. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, just like Messier, huh? Yes. Oh, yeah. Chip. Oh.
Lay's, always fresh. Bet you can't eat just one.
Yes. Yes.
Polo is outlanding Toledo so far in this fight 2-1, like over 100 punches. We were just informed to just about 50 punches around, and a lot of those punches are landing from Polo, and a lot of those punches are landing hard.
Well, it's that left that he has no answer for. If you look at the punches in round number 4, look at the amount thrown by Polo, 102. He only landed 31, but he did tremendous damage with the punches that were landing.
That's right. And Polo's still pressing the action. Landing, and it's, you know what, folks, this is coming behind a stiff jab from Polo. He's setting that up with a stiff right jab, not just waiting in there. I said last round, in football, they meet it metaphorically. No, they meet it literally in football, too. Boxing and football, those are the two. People are willing to lay it all on the front line. They mean everything. And Toledo's that kind of fighter. He's showing it right here.
See, and you can see the wheels beneath Toledo right now as he's holding to run around, but he comes around with a nice,
both fighters,
nice combo.
Tremendous exchange. I mean, tremendous right up the pipe.
But look at that left by Polo, just so crisp. He's got it caught the entire time, and he just unleashes it at will.
Polo's dominating the fight, as I said earlier. He's proven throughout his career, especially recently, he's a better fighter. However, Toledo is not going quietly, gently into that night. Not at all.
He's only had 6 out of his 34 fights in the United States. This is his first in New York City, and Victor Polo said to me yesterday that he has no problems going into an opponent's backyard and giving him a beating.
I said earlier that Toledo should stay in punching range, not run. I think I have to amend that a little bit. I think he's having more success, Toledo, that is, having more success slipping from longer range and picking his shots and pot shotting. And I think he needs to adjust his game plan if, in fact, that wasn't the game plan going in. I think I was wrong about that off the top. You see him having more success when he sees Polo's punches coming from long range, slip them, and pot shot him and counterpunch him like he did just now.
Well, part of the reason for Polo's success, and if you look at Toledo, maybe you can adopt this defensively, is look at where he keeps his right hand and his left hand. Always up right beside the chin the entire time.
Polo or Toledo?
Polo does. And if Toledo can kind of copy that formula here midway through the fight, it could buy him some rounds, especially in the energy department, and allow him to save up for a serious stretch run.
I like the way Toledo's fought much better this round. Still not winning the round, still lost the round, but he's fighting better.
Hey, fight fans, welcome back to our TSN newsroom. I'm Gino Retta. More fight action momentarily. But first, a reminder, the Sports Desk is coming your way in 60 minutes' time with David Pratt and myself. At that point, all the day's top news and highlights from the world of sports. Matter of fact, here's a quick preview of some of the stories we're working on for the show. After a stellar 22-year career and finally winning the Stanley Cup, Ray Bourque officially retired today. We'll have all the highlights from Major League Baseball, including the Jays trying to avenge last night's loss to the Baltimore Orioles. All the highlights from day 2 at Wimbledon, including defending champion Venus Williams in action. David Amber previews tomorrow's NBA draft from New York City. And our numbers feature takes a look at voting for this year's Major League Baseball All-Star Game. All those stories and lots more coming up on the next edition of Sports Desk, coming your way in 60 minutes time at 11 o'clock Pacific time. Now, time for a break, and it's more Tuesday night's fights right after this.
A hearty soup and a home-style sandwich. Lunch at Tim Hortons. It's a taste of home when you need it most.
World-class fighters operating on that certain level are able to do this. Toledo starts to break the momentum, land punches of his own. Nice short left hand right up the pipe. Both guys, these are seasoned, veteran, world-class fighters, especially Polo and also Toledo. And that's how deep this division is, that a fight like this is kind of like middle-of-the-road contender. Many divisions, this might be a title fight.
Look at this number, Max. Total punches throughout the fight. Polo plus 248 throws. He's landed 61 more.
That's an argument for staying busy, isn't it?
Well, you can tell it's a busy night here because the comedy box guys have a masseuse here at ringside to rub their fingers in between rounds.
Toledo needs to start breaking up the rhythm of his movement, as he just did. Not lying on the ropes. It can't just continually move, which feels the way that feels comfortable for a southpaw that's counterclockwise. You have to sometimes break that up and move clockwise, throw the guy's rhythm off.
Well, he did something very well there, and that was establish that right hand as he was coming in, and it snapped him back twice.
I mean, right now, as it stands, there he is. David's moving the other way, but that's only because Polo cut off the ring and forced him that way and landed that good straight left hand and a good right hook. Toledo has to dictate the movement a little bit more. Okay, now he's moving counterclockwise, not doing anything behind it. Okay, landed a punch. Now switch it up. Now go to your left. Now switch it up. Don't let this guy get in a rhythm because he's getting in his rhythm, sticking that jab out and landing that straight left hand. And Toledo's walking right into it.
Well, Polo is a ring general inside of that ring tonight.
Yes, he has been tonight.
And it's funny, we're talking about the ring size earlier, and it has played to his advantage dramatically here this evening. Because if this was a bigger ring, it would allow Toledo to move around.
So often you can look at a fighter's feet and tell what's going on in the ring. The feet is the actual position of the fighter. Not where exactly. You can see, look, you know where he is, you look at his feet, that's where he is.
Look at Polo's feet as he walks in there with confidence, and Toledo's a lot of movement there. Polo constantly having the one foot in the back to base him. He's the foundation.
You also look at which way these guys want to move. Now, yes, Toledo wants to move the way he's moving, ideally more frequently than the other way, but he's not moving at all the other way. And as a result, Polo can time him, keep walking in, keep landing his punches, keep walking in, keep landing his punches. There's nothing to throw it off. People talk about rhythm in boxing, but they need his timing. Another baseball now. It's like baseball. Here, a guy goes into a slump, his timing is off. Same thing in boxing. And right now, Toledo has been slumping in this fight because his rhythm is being clocked.
Round 6 comes to a strong finish. Now, if you didn't watch Friday Night Fights last week, you missed some great things. You also missed some great knockouts. In an early bout, David Toledo catches Isidor Tejedor with an inside right in the 6th. And take a look at the result. Oh, good evening. Gone. Main event of the evening featured the always exciting Julian Lederloh versus former title challenger Katie King. In the second round, Lederloh catches King with an uppercut and finishes him off with a left hook to improve to 17-1-1 with 16 KOs. good win for the light heavyweight there. Now, there's more boxing coming up on ESPN2 this week. Friday Night Fights, presented by Miller High Life. We'll present light heavy's Eric Harding, IBF #3 fighter there.
Eric Harding gave Roy Jones the toughest fight of Roy Jones' career. That includes Montel Griffin, folks.
He'll be taking on Demetrius Jenkins.
And Jenkins gave Julian Letterlow the second most action he's ever seen behind Julio Gonzalez. Jenkins-Letterlow is a candidate for Action Fight of the Year.
It's all on Friday with Bob, Teddy, Max, and Brian on Friday Night Fights. We'll return to this fight inside of the ring here, Max.
Mikushevsky is the linear heavyweight champion at light heavyweight, and he's a guy I'm not sure would beat Eric Harding.
Round 7 of 12. Mario Diaz, Max Calvin, and Cassandra Henderson coming to you live from the deck of the Intrepid in New York City. You're watching the main event of the evening, presented by Miller High Life. Victor Polo going to work now, and David Toledo gets the ropes. He's trying to take out the hometown fighter. And a smart move there to try to cover up, but he doesn't get the gloves around him.
Toledo is starting to take a beating. I mean, he's been taking a beating throughout the fight, but he's been in the fight. He's throwing punches back. I mean, this is the danger in boxing.
Toledo takes a knee.
Over here.
Low blow. A guy with this much heart can be a danger to himself.
Yes.
As we
Look,
saw
next time
in
you
our
can
opening
move
bout.
point. You feel all right? You feel all right, man? Okay.
Was it a low blow or not?
No counterplay. And look at Polo, right back on top in the same spot. He moves him over to the other side of the ring now.
And unfortunately, like our first fight, what I don't like about these shots is that they're flush and there are a lot of them. Toledo, just like in our first fight, Scotland, as he told me, Scotland is landing just enough to keep himself in the fight. When a guy like that is himself.
The left that staggers Toledo. And watch, look at Polo just establish himself with that jab and then go in with that big left. And he's landing those shots, Max, that you were talking about earlier. And Toledo doesn't have anything to answer.
You have to start asking yourself again, is it worth it?
For David Toledo, yes.
Right, he's a warrior. Is it worth it? Now his corner has to start taking a good look and start thinking about maybe, you know, Toledo's fighting back too much for the referee to stop it. Now the corner may have to take the onus on themselves and say, you know what, not worth it, another day, another day.
Well, the tough Colombian is giving Toledo everything. Oh, there's a time called here. 1 point is being deducted. Wayne Kelly, the ref, is deducting 1 point from Victor Polo for low blows. It'll be intriguing to see if that will even be a factor here when the decision is announced.
People get worried when they see these big knockouts. One punch, the guy goes down. It's the second or third round. That's not when you get nervous. It's the 7th, 8th, 10th round. In a grueling fight like this, when one guy is consistently getting pounded in the head, then you start to get nervous.
Test your sports trivia knowledge on TSN and tune in to win with the TSN Playbook. A 6-night all-inclusive first-class trip for 2 across Canada aboard Via Silver and Blue. A his and hers pair of laureate watches finished in 23-karat gold from Wittenauer, or one of 2 Casio digital cameras. Weekly prize updates in the Ottawa Sun and Toronto Sun. Pick up your TSN Playbook at participating Via Rail and Esso locations. Hit tsn.ca/playbook for complete details.
Best Western is the largest hotel chain in the world. Over 4,000 hotels in over 80 countries, all inviting you to get a good night's sleep. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN. Face it, kids are simply priceless. Which is why kids stay free at Best Westerns worldwide. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN.
You hear what I'm saying? I want you to fight with him in the middle of the ring. Start boxing with the jab. Okay? Forget about the whole I want you boxing first with the jab.
There was a point deducted in the last round.
Now. Yeah. Come on.
Kelly gave him a warning. And it comes right back.
You know what? Yes.
About a minute later.
It was low. It was on the belt. It was
deducts him a
ladder,
point.
more or less, but it's not in Polo's best interest to start throwing low blows now. I'm sure it wasn't intentional.
So Polo doesn't impress the judges with that move. However, Toledo's not impressing the judges tonight with his explain this. His hair is long, it's wet, the corner pulls water on it, so every time there's a big blow at the start of the round, you just see all this perspiration and water fly off the back here at ringside, and it compounds the significance of the punch being thrown. But right now, the punches that are being connected are huge punches.
Absolutely, good point, Mario. However, the judges are also seeing his eyes roll up a little bit, his head snap around, there's digging, vicious body shots Polo's giving him. Polo, according to the hockey box, according to punch stat, maybe 36 punches last round, 34 of them were not jabs. Hooks, uppercuts, crosses, but not jabs, 34 out of 36. And those non-jabs are generally referred to as power punches. And a lot of them were actually power punches last round. And so far this one.
Let him go!
Boxing's a sport, Mario. As soon as it starts to deliver on its promise, we want it to stop delivering. As soon as it turns into an incredible war of attrition and brutality and action, which is all the promise that the sport has when you turn on the TV or and as soon as that starts to happen, you hope, well, maybe it doesn't go too much farther. It's paradoxical.
Second, put the gloves down and shake out his hands. Is it a reaction to the punches, though? Because Toledo landed a few shots there.
You can't say enough about a guy like Toledo. Not the kind of guy a bully wants to pick on in the schoolyard, Toledo.
He's going hard.
There's no quitting him, there's no giving him, no acceptance that you're beating him, that you can't win the fight, that he should give up. None of that is. And a front runner, a bully, loses to a guy like Toledo frequently. Polo's not a bully.
Now Toledo's getting warned of a low blow.
See Polo switch up on him, time him, and land that left hand. Feinted him and landed a left hand sweep.
So look at Polo's face, completely unscathed. Toledo's showing the marks of this brutal battle here.
And you know what? Toledo's not, Polo's not getting hit with that many shots. He's got hit with a bunch of shots.
Some power shot.
And he's making Toledo miss enough, too. He's not just working into everything. He is making Toledo miss enough. Let me tell you something. The third consecutive, very impressive performance by Victor Polo.
Well, Frankie Toledo's here at ringside watching this thing closely. We'll hear from him when we return to New York City.
Up to 70,000 thoughts every day. Eyes which can differentiate between 10 million different colors. Hearing that detects frequencies between 20 and 20,000 hertz. And 656 muscles, 17 of which are moving when he smiles. When we develop digital technology, we know who it's for. LG, digitally yours.
Welcome back. I'm joined with Frankie Toledo, David's older brother. You know him better than anyone. What's going on with him in the ring?
Well, Polo's getting to him. My brother has to box a little more. He's letting Polo dictate the fight a little bit. You got to start using his combination and his speed. My brother's a lot better boxer than that. But he's got to bring it on from here on out.
Now, I saw you yelling at him. What advice were you giving to him?
Just stick and move. Use your speed. My brother's real fast. I don't know why he's trying to bang with this guy.
All right, I'll let you go back to ringside as we go back to Max Mario.
All right, thank you very much, Cassandra.
You know, you think about guys who start early in their careers like Bones Adams, the featherweight WBA junior featherweight champion. He was advocating his belt to fight Toledo. But Bones early on was a very good fighter. As a teenager, he was a professional fighter. Retired, had a long layoff for several years, only fought once or twice in several years. Came back on Friday night fights and was better, I think, than he'd ever been. And sometimes a guy like David Toledo, who turns pro young, had a long amateur career, can maybe burn out a little bit young, maybe is not ready for the top guys right away, and sometimes can slow the pace up a little bit, take some time off, and come back as a more mature fighter with stuff left in the tank because he didn't continue to fight.
Well, Polo was slowing things down for him here this evening in his last two fights. Toledo has gone to a distance of 11 rounds. As with Polo, 24 rounds. So he's used to the long fights right now, Max. In fact, this is the longest fight
he'll win a championship or beat some guy who holds the title right now at 26 or 30 or 22, but he's that caliber fighter. In this day and age, with 3 so-called recognized belts, IBF, WBC, WBA, those are the so-called recognized belts, the belts that people say you need to have all 3 of to be a unified champion. Even though I don't recognize him, but many people do. In this day and age, a guy like Victor Polo can win a belt. He's championship material in that sense of the word. Yes, he said he lost a split decision to Derrick Gainer, a very tough guy to fight a featherweight. What you folks are looking at is a credible contender type in Frank Toledo against a championship level fighter in Victor Polo.
But I'm not convinced that this is a complete blowout here. I think that in the eyes of the judges, Toledo, having fought here several times before, they're used to his style, and they could possibly be giving him more points than we're giving him credit for right now.
No, I don't think so. Steve Weisfeld is an absolutely top-notch judge, to name one judge here tonight. Absolutely top-notch, according to Greg Surtz, the commission, the head of the ABC, the Associated Boxing Commissioners. That's the closest thing we have to a national commission. Steve Weisfeld ranks perfectly among judges, the system they have for ranking judges. That's an up-and-up fair system. I don't think Weisfeld has given Toledo 1 round other than the point clutch. I'd be surprised if he did.
I hate boxes. I hate them with a passion. You can give them flashy names and flashy options, but when you get right down to it, they're still boxes. Did I tell you how much I hate boxes? This is my car.
The new 2001 Sebring sedan from Chrysler.
It didn't have to end like this. Armor All Protectant. Armor All Wash and Wax. And introducing Armor All Wipes, a revolutionary new way to shine, protect, and maintain your car quickly and easily. It's not just shine, it's Armor All.
Welcome back to New York City. You're looking live at the main event of the evening, presented by Miller High Life. David Toledo, Victor Polo. Round 10 of a scheduled 12-rounder.
In a fight like this, Toledo was doing just enough. I think, Mario, what you're sensing in the last round, not sure the judges have it, so would I be surprised if Toledo has any round other than the point clutch round? I think he's lost all the rounds. But in a fight like this, what people are seeing at home is that that's not a total massacre. If Toledo does just enough to stem the tide, every time Polo looks like, oh, he might stop him, it might turn into a massacre. Toledo does just enough to stem the tide, but you see how it adds up over the rounds. Landed over 100 punches so far. Most of those are power shots that Polo's landed. Movement to the right, which he wants to do in general. He wants to break up the movement to the left also. But that movement to the right is kind of running backwards more than he is gliding backwards. It's not a purposeful movement where he can really get an angle on Polo, maybe get behind Polo's left hand and do damage. Polo is the one keeping his feet where he wants them to be and keeping Toledo in front of him and in striking range. When I say behind him, look where Polo carries his left hand. If Toledo, by moving counterclockwise, could get almost behind that left hand, he'd have to angle and on Polo be able to land punches, but he can't even left hand. It's a speedy left hand. It's Polo's also knowledge of cutting off the ring, not simply following Toledo. You see how he cut off the angle? He doesn't simply turn with Toledo. He glides to the side. See where Polo's heading? Toledo's heading towards the corner. Polo already is heading towards that side, not just following. He's making the ring small for Toledo. Here comes Polo. He's going to move towards us. Polo cut off the angle towards where we're sitting now. Toledo had nowhere to go. He had to go the other way. Not because he wanted to go the other way to break Polo's ring. but because it was forced the other way. So Polo is dictating the motion and the action in the fight.
It's those type of dance moves here this evening that's got him walking towards his 30th victory of his career. However, Toledo still has just over 6 minutes here.
Here you see, folks, you see where Toledo's heading? You know where he's heading. He's heading in a circle the other way. Polo's going to glide over and try not to let him move that way. There he sits. He's matching him, gliding over. See that? He gets the left foot planted and forces Toledo the other way.
Well, just 2 rounds remain in our main event. We'll have them for you.
Brush up on great taste at Harvey's. Right now, we're brushing a delectable teriyaki sauce on our grilled chicken and topping it with tomatoes and lettuce. Harvey's Teriyaki Grilled Chicken. Try it. Real. Big. Taste. Harvey's.
It's made for rust, and it's made to last. It's bright and new because it dries so fast. So what's going on?
It's Trim-Clad.
It keeps walls and walkways attractive and neat. It's the perfect paint to cover concrete. So what's going on?
It's Trim-Clad.
To completely revive a great old door, spray on hammered or brilliant silver decor. So what's going on?
It's Trim-Clad.
Fast dry concrete, hammered and metallic. New paints from a trusted old friend. Trim-Clad. It's what's going on.
Many advances in the fight against tooth and gum disease remain a mystery to dogs. The effective use of dental floss is something of an enigma to dogs. And the proper use of modern dental equipment continues to elude the majority of dogs. Happily, there's nutritious Milk-Bone dog biscuits. Milk-Bone not only cleans teeth, it helps remove tartar buildup. Each delicious crunch helps scrape away food particles and plaque. Give your dog a Milk-Bone smile.
Here we see an example of Victor Polo cutting off the ring. See, Toledo wants to move that way. Polo just glides the other way. A lot of pressure fighters never learn how to do that. Jose Luis Ramirez had over 100 pro fights, beat Edwin Rosario, was in there with Camacho and Whitaker, but never learned how to cut off the ring. He simply turned with the guy who was moving. Pressure fighters who are successful, Jeff Fennick, Roberto Duran, Julio Cesar Chavez, learn how to cut off the ring. Clearly, Polo's not in their class. And he does follow Toledo at times, but he also cuts off the ring at times, and when he does so, he's successful. And as I say that, he follows Toledo around, and Toledo plays.
Look at Polo. I mean, he is just continuing to stay on top of Toledo, and it's funny because in between rounds, Miguel Diaz said, if you give him these rounds, we lose the fight.
His guy motivated.
Exactly.
Sure he doesn't get hurt.
Motivational talk.
As you said, it is Toledo's hometown. You never can be 100% sure.
And he is known as a fighter that fights off the ropes. He likes to counterpunch.
If Toledo were to get this decision, unless he would have scored 3 knockdowns here and 3 knockdowns in the next round, it'll be a very, very bad decision.
Just over a minute and a half left here in round 11. Fantastic fight up to this point. Has it been one-sided? Yes. But to Toledo's credit, he has countered when he needed to.
He ain't no punk, Mario.
No, he's got a lot of heart. He's got a lot of heart. And that's what makes this city.
And any New York would be proud to have Toledo representing him tonight the way he's fighting.
To be honest with you, Max, I still think that he's just a knockdown away from making this thing very close.
I don't see Toledo having won any rounds.
Nice left connects by Toledo.
And that right hook to the body really bothered him. That shook him up. I think that's the most hurt he's been in this fight. That right hook to the body. Those body shots are the ones that hurt you. And physically, you know,
that's Polo trying to slow down the wheels. That's Polo trying to take away the legs.
You might get stunned with a shot to the head.
Oh, big left that knocks down Toledo.
although he's still fighting. He's still here.
And as we mentioned, a knockdown could be the big difference for Toledo. It may have just completely secured the fight. Here's Miguel Diaz in the corner.
Buenísimo, buenísimo. Ahora te quiero ver jugar con él. Ahora te quiero ver jugar. Pa' aquí, pum, pa' aquí, pam. ¿Ok? Ahora te quiero ver jugar con él. Él está muerto ya. ¿Ok? Y tú estás listo para pelear otros 5 rounds. ¿Ok?
You can't get motivated with that guy talking to you in the corner. You can't get motivated.
Action earlier in the fight, round 4, Max.
It's Polo opening up a can of you-know-what whooping.
Seventh round, more Polo. Toledo against the ropes. And in the last round, which we just saw the 11th, he puts him up against the ropes. It's the left that stuns him. And right there, the first knockdown to the chin for Toledo.
As I mentioned, those punches to the head can stun you and make you lose your legs and knock you out. But to physically hurt you, give you physical pain, either a shot in the nose or a shot somewhere in the body. And I think the most physical pain Toledo's been in, of course, you can find out after the fight, was that right hook to the body. Looked like maybe that even sent that left hand up a little bit later, took something out of him.
Well, Miguel Diaz told him in the corner, now I want to watch you play with this guy. We'll see whether or not he does play with him.
Tell you what,
best interest is to stay away.
Tell you what, if I'm in the 12th round of a championship fight that's close, and I can't have Teddy Atlas in the corner, I want Miguel Diaz.
We got another Diaz beside you, so you're all right. Just over 2 minutes here for David Toledo to create some magic.
Of course, you can have a man who Stewart until recently, and he fought when he was still active. A lot of great trainers out there. And look who's forcing the fight, Mario. Look who's coming after him. Toledo's coming after him. He knows he needs a knockout.
He has. He's got no choice.
But he is coming after him, and he's making Polo give a little ground. Yeah, you can say, well,
and you wonder how different this fight would have been if he would have done this early.
Well,
done it sooner.
I don't know if he would have been close, if he could have been close real sooner.
The reason why also that Polo was backing up is because his corner told him back off and just play with him.
Did he? Back off, he said?
He said basically play with him. He's not going to play with him getting inside. He can only play with him from the outside.
You got the advantage here, Pat. You know Spanish.
Just a little.
How did I go through the little Spanish schools and not wind up knowing Spanish? Don't ask me.
You know what I'm saying? Look at Toledo, Max. He attacks the bottom with the right, and he comes back up top. Barely misses with the right. It's been a fantastic fight here at ringside. A fantastic fight for you at home. We'll let you enjoy the final 30 seconds of this one as it plays out here for us at ringside.
Even up to the last moment, Toledo's firing back.
Stay tuned.
Here's a side of summer you'll love. Enjoy our rotisserie quarter chicken dinner, and for just 99 cents more, get a side order of one of 5 fabulous salads. Here's a side of summer you'll love. Try our strawberries and mandarin oranges on mixed greens with raspberry vinaigrette. What a taste.
Life should taste as good as Swiss chalet.
Test your sports trivia knowledge on TSN and tune in to win with the TSN Playbook. Gift packages from Casio. movie passes from Warner Brothers, gift packages from Jameson Laboratories, or a Premier Collection watch from Wittenauer. Weekly prize updates in the Ottawa Sun and Toronto Sun. Pick up your TSN playbook at participating Via Rail and Esso locations. Hit tsn.ca/playbook for complete details.
Well, the city has seen some great fights in its day tonight. Another impressive outing here on the deck of the Intrepid, as we have just seen our main event of the evening, Victor Polo versus David Toledo. The crowd here at ringside now awaiting the official decision. They are currently tabulating the scorecards, and there are the total punches number, 31%, 31% for both fighters. But
you throw twice as much, you'd rather be landing twice as much.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of championship boxing here in New York City, New York, we go to the Miller High Life scorecard. Judge Tony Paolillo sees the contest, 114-112. Judge Bob Gilson calls it 115-110. And Judge Steve Weisfeld sees the contest, 115-110, for your winner by unanimous decision and new IBF Intercontinental Featherweight Champion, de Cartagena, Colombia, Victor Polo.
Victor Polo picks up an impressive victory by coming into David Toledo's backyard.
Mario, you're good looking, I'm ugly, you're smart, I'm dumb, you're right, I'm wrong. When Steve, listen, that's not the way I saw the fight at all, but Steve Weisfeld is a great judge. He scores at 15-10, I believe him, and we watch the tape and see if I agree with him then also.
The judges were used to his style here. They can make it closer, Max.
Thank you.
And there, with the win, he ups his mark.
According to the ringside doctor, B. Taven is not in danger of losing his life, but he shouldn't fight again. And that's a sigh of relief.
Thanks, Max. So tonight's main event, Victor Polo, decision, David Toledo, and an exciting night of boxing here on the Intrepid. Now start your Independence Day with us next Tuesday at 9 outside of Atlanta, as Tuesday Night Fights, presented by Miller High Life, presents O'Neal Bell versus Jason Robinson. This is a presentation of ESPN Wide World Leader Sports.
And it looks like Beethoven, Scotland is going to be okay, folks.
All right, for Max, Cassandra, I'm Mario. Have a great night, and thank you for joining us.